What's going on, world? This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal, and you, the Realtor Conference and Expo is coming up, and I decided that I wanted to get to know my fellow speakers better. But we're talking about a group of people. Basically, I think it was 548 submissions, and out of that, they narrowed it down to less than 100 people to speak before 20,000 Realtor members, and we're talking about an organization of 1.38 million members. And so that means these are some fancy folks. They know what they're talking about to be selected. And so I went down the list. I looked at people who I thought had great products and services, who talk about what I love to talk about, and that's social selling. And I met none other than Mr. Antoine Dupont, right? And look, when he started talking, you're going to tell a little accent. I had to see. Actually, I thought he was from New Zealand or down south, but he is from Paris, France. What's going on today, Antoine?
What's up, Marky? Yes, I am from Paris, France. I am, so I sound like Pepe Le Pew. But when you meet me, I look like Uncle Fester. So it's a little confusing. So I can totally get to New Zealand. That's totally fair. I've been here 30 years. So I actually don't sound like Pepe Le Pew anymore, but after 30 years, you lose part of your accent, but it's still there. So I have to tell people okay, where I'm from, because I can see the puzzle look on their face. New Zealand is a new creative one. I like it.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of had to sit back and listen. And I'm like, I think I hear an accent. Let me not judge, because people say I sound like I'm from Mississippi or down south. And I've only lived on the Chicago South Side. So right. Is this your first Realtor Conference and Expo?
It is my first at the national level. I have spoken to the Georgia, Tennessee, Wisconsin. I'm on my way to Long Island next week, Realtors Association. So I'm doing the local chapter, but it's my first time going to the big show.
Oh, excellent. So welcome to the big show. We have a lot of fun at the big show this year in San Francisco. And I know that you share a passion for video.
That's right.
When I'm often talking to my fellow realtors, I have to let them know now that I'll be 50 on my next birthday. Mm-hmm. And the reason I'm telling them that is because according to our last report, the average age is 52. And I want people to know that I'm getting older. I'm getting closer to the average age, yet I create video content every single day. And then I also reference the fact that 99.9% of the time, I'm the shortest, darkest, roundest person in the room with the least amount of hair. And I'm pointing all of this out because I know that they should create video content. Right. But why do you think that realtors should create video content?
Oh, it's simple. It's what we want to consume. So, it's where are we? We are on predominantly on Facebook. YouTube would be my second place, which is the fastest growing segment, particularly in our age group. So I just turned 54 on Tuesday. So you and I are brothers and sister. We're the same age.
Yay!
And we're the fastest growing demographic, the 45 to 65 on specifically on YouTube. But to answer your question, that's what we want to consume. I mean, a recent study came out that video content produced 1,800% more engagement than text and pictures combined. So that, to transfer that into a number of times, it's 18 times, right? So, I mean, I think that it's fair to say that anything that produced 5 times more engagement would be something that we should be, really interested in. 10 times is like, you need to run in that direction. And that was according to HubSpot, and it's actually 18 times. So the truth is, that's what we want to consume. If we're giving the option to read 500 words or 1,000 words or watch a video, we'll pick the video every single time, which is why that's what you're seeing in your feed, whatever, in your LinkedIn feed, you're seeing a lot of videos. You're seeing mostly videos in your Facebook feed. And obviously YouTube is, only video. So that's fair. But, that's really why if you want to get attention, at the core of it, I believe that realtors are like anyone else. You want more leads and you want more visibility. right? So what you need to do is you need to put yourself out there where people are, and you want to give them the content in the way they want to consume it, which is video. So that pretty much settles that case.
That settles that case. Yes, and I know that they consistently worry about how they look or how they sound. And it was just brought to my attention. The reason I love live video is because I don't like to edit. You threw out some stats. Facebook, YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine, but we're the fastest growing sector. And
Right.
you also threw out the ages because there are a lot of myths about who uses what. And as I joke
Oh,
with people, my aunt will be 90. I hope that she doesn't see this. And she knows what's going on Facebook. And my son is 23 and he knows
mhm.
what's going on Facebook. What
Yeah,
I've come to realize is they don't like, comment, or share, but it doesn't mean that they don't digest the information or take a
that's right.
screenshot and send you a text.
That's
What I'm
right.
finding a little interesting is since my son graduated from college, it is now socially acceptable to engage with older people on Facebook, but never wow in college. So
Right.
that's kind of funny. So videos, you you mentioned to me before we even came on the right type of videos. So if I'm a realtor, I need to start creating some video. Whew,
Right.
golly. And now I got to create the right type of video. What are the right types of videos?
Well, it's actually really easy as how-to content. So this is here are the contents that we love and we can't get enough of on particularly on Facebook is inspirational content. So that type of content, dad comes back from deployment, sees the kids, and the kids are happy and they're crying. We love that. The little baby that finally gets to hear because of, some miracle thing, or where all that tear jerking stuff. We can't get enough of that stuff. It's 35 to 40% of all the shares on social media. So obviously that would be the type of content you would want to produce. The problem for all of us is that it's kind of like difficult, right? So, I mean, I would say as a realtor, if you have a story of a single mom with two kids that say for 15 years and then finally has, a few bucks and is able to buy the home and they're walking into the home, that's an amazing story that I would absolutely leverage. But, they're far and few in between. It's kind of like difficult to manufacture that. It's either happening or it's not happening. The second type of content that we love is how-to content. So it's content that provides value. Tell me how to do things. And I believe that the realtors are in an ideal situation because there's so much stuff. Here's the problem: is I actually had just recently I was in Wisconsin, and I asked the audience, and I says, okay, so I sold my home in January of this year, which is true. I sold my home. And I asked them, I says, I would like you to guess when I'm going to be buying my home. And then I had crickets in the room, and they're all looking at me like, yeah, nobody has a clue. And the truth of the matter is you don't know, right? The truth is, I'll tell you now, and please don't harass me, but it's probably going to be around 2021, 2022. Right? Because I have my reasons for investments and whatnot. So I sold my home. It was too large. And now I'm renting a home and I'm going to wait 2 to 3 years to buy my new thing. But the problem is you have no idea that. Now I told you that. So any content you're going to put in front of me promoting your service is going to be completely useless to me. Like, your open house means nothing. And I'm going to tell you that the vast majority of people could not care less that you have an open house. It's kind of like me saying, oh, look, I just signed a new client. And what are you going to say? You go, good for you, Antoine. I don't care. Like, it means nothing to me. And it's the same thing with your open house. There's a matter of fact, I'm going to say that I believe that the reason why you put an open house is to actually notify the other realtor that you actually have one. And it's more a nanny, boo-boo, right? That's really what it is. So all of this is not useful. What's useful for me is information in the how-to realm, right? How do you prepare a home when you want to sell it? When you're actually thinking of buying a home, what should you look for? What are the key indicators that an area is actually doing well? What is a key indicator that an area is not doing well? What is a better value, a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom? And I could make a laundry list of 1,001 video topics that you could be making as a realtor, actually sharing your intellectual property that you have learned in the last 10 years, all the mistakes that you've seen people do. Share that with us, because now if you're putting a piece of content and you're telling me what is better in my area, a 3 or 4-bedroom, what has better value over time, I'm going to listen, because that's interesting to me, right? And now I've engaged with your content, and now we're connected, right? So if I engage with your content, which means I share, or I comment it, now you also are putting your content in front of people. So I think that for realtors, the how-to space is the best, absolutely best way. By the way, you could say, what are the best schools in this area? What are the best restaurants in this area? What are the best parks in this area? You know all the stuff. You know everything about a city, because you have to, as a realtor, knowing all those things. You know the best contractors. You know the best electricians. You know the best plumbers. You know the best roofers. You know the best movers. You have all this stuff that you can share with me that's interesting. So that's what as a realtor, and actually what I tell them, it's kind of like scare them. And I says, I'm not saying that I'm going to become a real estate agent in your area, but if I did, here is how I would play it. And here's what's going to happen. After 2 years, I'm going to dominate the space. And I know for a fact that this is going to royally piss you off. Right? Excuse my French. But it will make you mad, because I'm the new guy that just came in. You've worked really hard for 15 years, and now everybody is seeing my face. And the reason why is because I would just be methodical. Every week, one new video, how to. And I would do that, the 52 weeks in a year. I'm going to give myself a few weeks off. Let's say I produce 45 videos in a year. But let me tell you, out of those videos, everybody in the area will know me. And this is your opportunity as a real estate agent. This is how I would position myself and play the game. Now, one other thing you said, and I don't want to touch back on that, because I think it's really interesting, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You started with people not liking themselves. And it's funny you say that, because this is one of how I open my presentation. So if you come in my session in San Francisco, this is one of the first things that I talk about. The 3 things that people push back. I don't have the time. I don't know how. And I hate the way I look and sound on video. And I asked them to raise their hand. I says, please be gentle. You don't have to raise it super high, but just, timidly raise your hand. And I says, it's almost the entire room. I have never met anyone that love the way they look and sound. We all think we should look and sound different. For me personally, I think I should look and sound like George Clooney. Right. Right. Exactly. Right. And it's not there. It's like, oh my God, I'm fluffy. I'm like, well, I sound weird. Like, all this thing. Well, why don't you guys shoot me right now? I mean, if I look that bad. But here's the thing. So first of all, it's universal. Right. And the second thing is nobody cares. Right? I know what you sound and look like. I don't have any other idea of how you should sound and look like. Like, you don't know that I think I should sound and look like George Clooney. You just take me as I am. So that's the first thing. It's kind of like, it takes that pressure off your shoulders. It's like, yeah, that's true. This is just how I am. And the only cure is to do it, to actually do 10 videos, 20 videos, 30 videos. After the 30th video, you don't care. You just you just know. So, there's no cure, there's no magic pill, there's no solution, there's just nothing. Just do it. That's that. I wanted to touch on that.
And I'm glad you brought that back up. And the subject, what you're talking about, I would tell people the proof is in the pudding, right? So you've done enough videos, you understand what is going to work. Right. I've done enough videos, I understand what is going to work. So a couple of things that most realtors do not know is that their open house and their listings are the least engaging form of content. And the reason it's not engaging is because there are three disqualifiers in every open house and in every listing they share. And that is, it is not the location, it is not the price point, it is not the bedroom, bathroom count that people in their sphere of influence desires, period.
That's
And
right.
so I'm consistently telling them, you cannot force feed this down people's throat. You have to communicate with people in their preferred communication style. The next thing is, if I was to look at my video performance, and I do two different types of videos. I do inspirational videos, which actually by far will outperform any sales video per se, how-to video that I do.
Yeah.
And the subjects are crabs in a barrel mentality. When your F-ups become your come-ups, right? They loved that content. But from a lead generation standpoint, where people are willing to click on a link, fill out information on a landing page, give me their information in exchange for something. The subjects have been how to create $190,000 sweat equity in 12 months, how to layer up to $19,500 in down payment assistance, how to secure your assets through land trust, how to find foreclosure, off-market foreclosures, how to. And so everything you just said, 100%, when I look at those videos that get engagement, where people are willing to inbox you, email you, heck, sometimes they even pick up the phone and call you, or click on a link and take an action. It's either been the inspirational or it is how to. And honestly, I never thought of it as how to, right? I would say solve a person's problems, but you solve the problems with the how to. So now I need to go add how to essentially to everything in order to get more engagement.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it's, here's what I would do. And because I think that there is an angle for an open house for you to promote it. But I would say what I love about this home, I mean, I'm sure I know there is some of you that are going into some homes that have some cool features. Either it has a wine cellar or it has a really cool bathroom, or it has, I mean, you're in Chicago. So for us here, we have like, a swimming pool that are really cool. You have some, I'm in West Palm Beach, right?
You rub it in.
Yeah,
rub it in.
Yeah, I'll call you back in February. That'll be fun. Yeah. I'm in my shorts right now. Yeah, I know my northern friend hate me in February because I'm in West Palm Beach and I'm by the pool, right? And then they remind me every time we have a hurricane. But I would show the features on the home. I would really like, what is it about this home that's actually interesting? And that would be a way for you to say, to actually look at that. It's just, I was like, wow, look at what they've done. I mean, I'm doing an open house today. But one of the things that's really cool about this home is this bathroom. I mean, look at what they've done. They have a big tub and it's got the thing, and I can totally see myself after a long day, chilling with a glass of wine, a bubble bath, and look at that. There is a shower and there's a thing and there's a beautiful linen closet. And I just thought I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was really cool. Boom. So now that's done. You have told me you have an open house, but it's not like in essence of, I have an open house from Saturday from 4 to 5, because the truth of the matter is nobody cares unless they're specifically looking for a house that month. So that means that 99% of us couldn't care less. However, seeing the feature in a home, it could be a staircase. It could be anything in the home. It could be a walk-in closet. Like these people, I don't know how much, and you actually, as a real estate agent, wow, these people have dropped some serious money in this walk-in closet. Look how cool it is. Because this is the type of stuff that I'd be looking like, it's like, with envy, that would be like, dream closet or anything. So that's what I would leverage. Or showcase a fireplace, showcase a kitchen. There's tons of stuff, or a huge garage that's got, whatever it is in that home, but showcase this with a subtle, this is an open house that I'm doing today. And that's all it is, because now I'm connected. Now I've engaged with your content. I've looked at it and, it was interesting. It was something cool. That would be my 2 cents on that.
So you talked about YouTube, and I know that
Yeah.
we've communicated via email, and you have your YouTube video. It's a link in, I believe, in your signature.
Right.
Is YouTube one of your preferred platforms?
Yeah, I mean the two platforms that I play that I'm I all in is Facebook and YouTube. I do I do spend some time on LinkedIn. And I'm looking at it, and I know a lot of people are bullish about it. And I'm going to give you my first opinion. I'm not saying like LinkedIn is bad, and I think that a lot of people are bullish with LinkedIn, but my impression of LinkedIn is it's a bit spammy, right? Which means that what I get is that people put their content and they're like, you watch it, right? And then they go back to Facebook where they engage and they spend their time, right? So I think that the level of engagement and social in LinkedIn is limited. I know that white collars, lawyers, accountants love that space because it's a space where they're comfortable and they're spending quite a bit of time. So obviously, if that's your demographic, I would want to go to. But if your demographic is families, here's the deal: they're not on LinkedIn, right? So you really they're on Facebook, right? So you have to pay attention to the demographic. But I'm very bullish on YouTube. I think that I am utterly convinced that in a few years from now there will be some superstars in the real estate. In the real estate world. There's an example for your listeners to actually look at, and for you too. His name is Malcolm Lawson. Lawson is Lawson. His first name is Malcolm, and he's a real estate agent in Maryland. And he has created a channel specifically for the real estate market, positioning himself as the Maryland real estate. Now, Maryland is a tiny state, right? So he's positioning him. I'm assuming that Chicago, you wouldn't say Illinois, you'd probably say Chicago. Because it's more than enough business for you to go there. But I think that I would be really looking as a real estate agent to position myself as the YouTuber for that space. And all of your content is 100% how to within that space, the best community, like have a video on each community or each town. I know the real estate agent. I've bought and sold several houses in the last 30 years that I've been in the United States. So, I've known and I've dealt in the real estate, but I know that some of you are very targeted. You're dealing with this community, or you have those 3 communities that you specialize. Then I would actually create a channel 100% all in with this, like just be the person that does that. Now, as I talked to Malcolm, and he told me that, and he has, I believe, 1,500 subscribers, right? So it's not a huge channel. I'm not saying
grown. He's grown since then. He's at 1,900.
1,900. Now I want you to hear that he has 1,900 subscribers, which in YouTube world, a lot of you would look, wow, this guy's got nothing. He made 50 grand this year. That's 50 big buckaroos
Off of just YouTube,
right? Off of his YouTube videos. His YouTube videos, the $50,000 in commission that he has made, among other, right? So he has made other money, but he can attribute 50 grand as a direct result of his YouTube videos, right? So think about it for a second, as a real estate agent, and I don't know what that's going to mean in 2020 or 2021. That number may grow. It may grow to 100,000. It may grow to actually even more in commissions. And there is a reason for it. It's because when you do videos, and it is something that's very interesting that I've actually discovered as I've been doing videos. Now, I've just as a footnote, I've got all in about a year ago with YouTube, and I've grown my channel. I just said, okay, let's make a run at this. And I've grown my channel to 13,000 members, subscribers, sorry. I got like 6.5 million minutes viewed on my channel. So I've done that in the last 12 months. And I totally lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? I think I was going with Malcolm.
The value, Malcolm, and then the value of YouTube. Let me say this. What I want to know is, as a realtor, because we make this content, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would we leverage it on YouTube? Because 13,000 is a wonderful number, especially in the amount of time in which you were able to create that growth. So if it was
Right.
three things as a realtor I should be doing on YouTube, what do you think those three things would be? Because I'm
A
checking you
hundred
out
percent how to. 100%.
100%.
100% how to content.
Wow.
How to buy a home. For you, I would say how to buy a home with cash in my area in South Side of Chicago. How to, best neighborhood, best area. Like I would just how to, and there's a way actually to reverse engineer that.
Hmm.
You can. Yeah, there you go, Malcolm Lawson. That's exactly him.
Right.
And this guy is killing it. And you can look at his videos and you can judge for yourself, thinking, is this guy super charismatic? Does this guy has a massive setup? Nope.
Nope.
Neither or. He's not. He's nice. He's friendly. But you can say, wow, this guy is like he's got everything going for him. He doesn't. He's just a regular young man doing his thing. By the way, he's a little bit younger. So if you've been in the real estate business, you've been doing this for 20 years, you probably know a lot more than he does. But guess what? He's doing videos and you're not. And that's just the reality. It's 2019. That would be a move. So I would do how to. The Pew Research Center recently did a study on YouTube and what people use YouTube for. And they came back with a staggering 51% of all content consumed on YouTube is how-to related. That is massive.
That is.
In the fastest growing demographic is 45 to 65, which is the older crowd. So which means that, and you have kids, like I have a 28, an 18 and a 15-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
My 18 and 15-year-old, that is their television. And what we have done as professionals is we have looked at that YouTube thing, at that thing that kids do. Right? It's like dumb videos, dumb cat videos, prank and stupid stuff. And you're absolutely correct. There's a lot of that. But guess what? It's actually, we are the fastest growing demographic. We are finally coming on to YouTube. When I ask a room of people, how many of you have gone in the last 30 days, watch a how-to YouTube video? And almost the entire hands go up, right? And that's like, okay, look at this. Every single one of us is going to YouTube for how-to content. So that's your play, because people have questions, you need to answer them. So again, it says don't create just how to, you need to reverse engineer that. If you come to my session at the National, I will tell you how to reverse engineer that. And I can tell you, I use one of the tools that I promote is answerthepublic.com. Answerthepublic.com. You go to that website, you type in a keyword, aka selling a house or buying a house, and it will tell you, what it does is it aggregates the internet for all the questions that people ask around that specific keyword, right? So if you do it, you actually have the question. So in essence, your strategy now is they ask, you answer. It's just as simple as that. They ask a question, right? It's a treasure trove of information, because okay, how to content. Okay, so I'm in. I got a camera, I got a microphone, I'm willing to do it, and I'm going to do how-to content. What type of how-to content? Don't make stuff up. Do not make stuff up. Just look at what they're asking. What are they asking? How to buy a house in South Side of Chicago. That's your video. Yeah, because people make stuff up. They're saying, okay, I'm going to tell them how to. Like, is this what they're asking? Because you know what I mean? It's like we can actually know what is their number one question. And it's like, and you should do that. And so, and if you look at Malcolm Lawson's YouTube channel, that's exactly it. Look at his titles. He's answering questions people have, and therefore that gives them traffic.
So that website was answerthepublic.com?
Answerthepublic.com.
So I have two questions for you, because I'm noticing you and Malcolm have something in common here, and it's the fact that you have great thumbnails, right?
Yes.
Is there a free tool that realtors can utilize in order to create their thumbnails, their YouTube thumbnails?
Free, no. Not
Okay.
really. I'm going to say, yeah, maybe Canva, or there's a couple of things that do some stuff. What I'm going to say is, if you're looking to play on YouTube, like seriously go on YouTube, I will say that the vast majority of people underestimate the power of the thumbnails. They are the most important thing, because think about it. So, for example, if I'm looking for a question, how to buy a home on the south side of Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
I know what I asked for. So therefore, I'm no longer looking at the title, because I'm assuming that YouTube is going to feed me a video answering that question. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at the thumbnail. So now my decision is going to be mostly based on the thumbnail,
The
right?
visual
And
appeal.
if you look at your feed, whether you're on a phone or whether you're on a desktop, you're either going to see 5 or 2 or 3 thumbnails, right? That's it. And so you may scroll a little bit, and something's going to catch your eye. So you're going to dismiss probably a thumbnail that looks like crap, because it's like, ugh, that doesn't look like it's put together. And if you see a thumbnail like Malcolm Lawson, you're going to say, oh, that looks like professional. It looks like it's going to be quality. So the assumption is, if you pay attention to the thumbnail, it's a good quality thumbnail. The chances are is the video is going to be of good quality. Right.
Okay.
It's not always the case, but it's most of the time, like, it is true. So yeah, it's super important. The thumbnails are specifically on YouTube are
So you
key.
did say Canva, which is a tool that I often recommend to realtors if they don't want to invest in yet another tool. Now I have one question, because I see this on yours and Malcolm's video, and I'm sure I'm not the only person with this question. Both of you have, you've done a remove the background, and you have a PNG transparent file, but you
Right.
have this little white outline or blue outline
Right.
around you. What tool do you use to create that outline?
Actually, it's in Photoshop.
Okay,
Um,
Photoshop.
Yeah, in Photoshop, you can actually, if you have the person with a transparent background, it's actually an outline around the person. It's just a really basic feature. It's an outline, and then you can make that outline. You can change the color of the outline. You can make it really sharp or really very blended in. My outline used to be a lot sharper. Now it's a little bit thinner, but I just like to, because it just gives a little bit of relief. Now, if you don't know Photoshop, and I'm going to assume that the vast majority of you don't, there is a couple of, I would recommend Fiverr. Fiverr is fiverr.com. It is a website where you can subcontract this, most likely to people in the Philippines and in India and wherever they are, and you're going to be paying a nominal fee to get a thumbnail done. So I would say I would look in that direction. You could subcontract an 18-year-old that lives under your roof, right? For pizza and a roof over their head. They all know how to do it. So you could certainly say, hey, listen, I'll pay you $50 if you give me, 10 thumbnails, and most of them will be like, and then you could point them and it says, you see Malcolm Lawson or Antoine says, this is how I want you to make it look like. And they're like, give me 10 minutes, right? So that's another way. And there's also a website, let me pull it up, and I think it's Awesome Thumbnails. Hold on a second. I have to pull it up now. Thumbnails, amazing custom thumbnails.com.
Amazing custom thumbnails.com.
Right. So that's a website that's all they do. They do thumbnails. So they bundle it, right? It's a monthly subscription. I think they have a basic. So it starts $197 a month for 10 design with unlimited redesign. So, obviously I will say it's a little bit more for the advanced person that is going to at least, produce some content. So you're getting 10. So $197, if you just need 4, probably Fiverr would be sufficient, because, Fiverr, you should be able to get that for $10-15, so don't let that stop you, and then find a design that you've seen that you like, and just ask someone to reproduce it.
Oh, okay. So that would be amazingcustomthumbnails.com.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to tell you today, I'm going to go over here to answer the public, and I'm getting ready to do a Facebook Live video off of the question just to see how that works. I always love trying new things. So I have
Answer the public is awesome.
two more questions for you.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the thumbnail, we've talked about the channel.
Yeah.
Frequency and duration.
Frequency, that's a good one. Obviously, there is the school of thought that having consistency. I think consistency is more important than frequency.
Okay.
And I think that quality is more important than frequency, because if you're going to kill yourself to just be on Thursday at 10 a.m. because you gave your word to it, and then you're not prepared and it's not going to be great, then I think that quality is more important to that. And then the other thing is, how big is your audience, right? Obviously, the larger your audience is, the more pressure you will have. So I think that for the vast majority of us, that's minimal at the beginning. You have a very small audience. Like, I tell people, allow yourself to suck. Your first YouTube video is going to suck, but guess what? 13 people are going to watch it. Okay. So it's not like it's going to go around the world and you're going to be embarrassed. So frequency is that. What was the second point?
Duration.
Duration. Okay. So there's a huge myth that your videos, and it's actually, I still, like 2 weeks ago, saw an article about that is misleading, selling people that, your video should be a couple of minutes and that's all we have, or that we have the attention of a goldfish. And it's not true. Either of those things are true. What we don't have is we don't have patience, right? We're not patient. We're not patient for you trying to figure this out. Like we're gonna move on, right? So just be ready, and then just make sure you deliver the stuff. Like people say, okay, here. So this is Antoine, and I'm inside of a house, and I'm really excited to be on the video today. And so yeah, and then like, people are like, dude, like, I don't care. Like I don't care. Like
be ready.
Right, be ready. So. Hey guys, I'm in this house and check out this tub. Oh my God, this is awesome. Like, look at this. And if we done this, like I just go right into it. Nobody cares about all you're excited and I'm here and all this stuff, right? So here's the truth. On Facebook, the ideal length of a video is 20 to 90 seconds. Right? Now that's coming from Facebook. They're saying the most effective videos are, which is, by the way, it's about a minute mark, but it doesn't have to do with our attention span, and it doesn't have to do with anything other. This is how we want to consume the content. This is how we want to consume the content on Facebook. It's quick content. I want to consume your thought, but I want to go on to the next and to the next and to the next. So there's kind of like, I'm scrolling through my thing, and this is not a place where I want to sit and consume long form content. YouTube, on the other hand, is where we want to consume long form content. My most popular video on my channel is 55 minutes, right? That's my number one video. And the sweet spot for YouTube is 10 to 12 minutes. Actually, YouTube loves long form content. And you and I, when we go on YouTube, actually will consume. We actually like that. If you produce a great video, the 10 things no realtor will tell you about buying or selling a home in this video. It could be 10 things, and it could actually take like 10, 12 minutes to do that, but it's an interesting video that I'm saying, what is it that they're not telling me, right? So I'm leaning in and I'm going to listen to you. And if it's well done, if the pace is right. Now, remember, what is true is not that we have the attention of a goldfish, because people do consume long form content. People will sit through a 30-minute video if the quality is good and if the pace is good. If you start to babble, people will disconnect and they'll be gone. So it's a patience thing. It's like we don't have patience and we don't have time. I think the most valuable asset that people need to understand that we have is time. It's time. That's what you're competing for. You're competing for time. So your content has to bubble up that is giving me the most value for my time.
Wow.
I like that.
I love that. So, Antoine, I know you're speaking at the Realtor Conference and Expo. You speak to a lot of service providers. How
Mhm.
does one connect with you and buy your products, services? What's your
Yeah.
hottest product service?
Well,
How do
I
they do
don't.
all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I don't have any products or services to sell. I'm a public speaker. I'm a marketing agency owner for the last 15 years, and public speaking is a midlife crisis. You know, he could either get a tattoo and buy a Harley, or become a public speaker, and I became a public speaker. So I get to travel, and I'm actually enjoying this new career move. But they could certainly go to my YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/Antoine Dupont. So it's spelled ANTOINE DuPont, as in DuPont Chemicals. So you can go to my channel, and that's really the best way for you to engage with me. I mean, actually, if I have a product, it's actually my YouTube channel, which I'm developing, and I want to have, my pie in the sky goal is a million subscriber. And I'm just going to get there one subscriber at a time, and providing value, and then just growing like that.
Well, Antoine, I 100% appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to sitting on your session. I've already subscribed to your YouTube channel
thank you.
because you've provided me and my fellow realtors with additional great content on how to leverage video, the
Hmm.
time, the frequency. Now I have to go ask Facebook, consistency versus frequency, right, to see what they say. So I am looking so forward to it. Thank you very much for being here today.
It's my pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in San Francisco and hanging with you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you. See you guys.